If you're looking to make delicious Chicago-style pizza on your smoker, then you've come to the right place. Okay, let's get started with our dough. Today we're using Fleischmann's pizza yeast, and the recipe is on the back of the package. We're just going to go ahead and follow the instructions with one substitution. We are substituting the olive oil for butter. And that is because we want the delicious buttery quality that you find in Chicago-style deep dish. First off, we are adding the yeast. Then 2 cups of flour. All-purpose flour is fine, and then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of melted butter, preferably unsalted. Next up, we are adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then we're adding 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. Then finally, we're going to add 2/3 of a cup of hot water. I ran the water through the microwave for about 30 seconds. You don't want it boiling as it could kill the yeast, but you definitely want it warmer than room temperature. Place the dough ingredients in the mixer and turn it on low and mix until the dough comes together and forms a ball, which should take about 1 to 2 minutes. Once your dough has come together, go ahead and turn that off. Then I'm going to let that sit for approximately 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we're going to turn it back on to about medium and let that go for 4 minutes. After 4 minutes is up, remove the dough from the hook, and using our hands, we are going to turn the dough in on itself to form a tight skin on the top, creating a ball that looks something like this. Place your ball in the bottom of your bowl and cover that with a piece of plastic. This will prevent your dough from drying out. Leave that in a warm spot for approximately 4 hours. Okay, it is time to set up the smoker. And this was my huge mistake. I forgot to put my smoker up before the snowstorm rolled through. I meant to put it back in the garage, but that's okay. This thing is basically indestructible. Throw in some pecan chunks, dump the charcoal in, put the baffles in place, return the grates, and close the lid. We are opening up the intakes a little wider than normal because we want to bring it up to approximately 400 degrees. Back inside, we are flouring our work surface. And now that those 4 hours have passed, we are turning out our dough onto the flour. We're going to stretch it until it is approximately 12 to 13 inches in diameter. We have our cast iron skillet, and we're just going to brush that up with some melted butter. I like to preheat my cast iron slightly before doing this. I feel it helps the dough cook more evenly on the bottom, but is not necessary. Place your dough in the pan and spread it around until the edges are approximately 1 to 2 inches up the sides of the pan. Then we just brush the top of the edges with our melted butter. And now we have some Italian sausage. Just place tiny little pieces in concentric circles until we cover the dough. You could put this down as one thin sheet, but I find that when you make a pizza like that and bite into it, oftentimes you'll pull the entire slice of sausage out in one piece. Breaking it up prevents that. Next, we are sprinkling our low moisture mozzarella cheese. Just spread that around. How much you put in there is entirely up to you. A lot of Chicago-style pizzas have massive amounts of cheese in them, but I prefer a minimum amount. Next, we are placing a few sprinkles of Parmesan over the top of the mozzarella. And next, we have our crushed tomatoes. We are using San Marzano style crushed tomatoes, and they have been run through a strainer to remove some of the moisture from the tomatoes. This is a very important step as the moisture content of most crushed tomatoes will seep down into the bottom and will cause your crust to become soggy. And nobody likes a soggy bottom. Now at this point you could add other toppings to the top if you prefer, but I like my pizza just like this. Okay, we're headed to the smoker and we're going to drop that on the grate. We're rolling right along at 400 degrees. Close the lid and set the timer for 30 minutes. Now we're headed back inside and we're going to crush some garlic and mix that into our melted butter. It has been approximately 30 minutes and we are looking for a nice golden crust. If after 30 minutes it's not this beautiful golden color, then you'll want to let it go for another 10 minutes or so. Now that the pizza is done, we're going to take our garlic butter mixture and just brush the edges of the crust. That'll give it a nice garlicky flavor. As you can see, this is a beautiful pizza that dreams are made of. Once the handle on the pan has cooled to the point that you can touch it, it is now ready to remove from the pan. I'm using my Gunter Wilhelm bread knife to cut the pizza as I don't have a pizza slicer. However, feel free to slice it in any way you prefer. As you can see, the bottom is an excellent firm texture and has a nice bite through. The delicious flavors of the sauce, cheese, and sausage blend together nicely with just a hint of smoke that gives this pizza a nice wood-fired flavor that is smoky, buttery, and delicious. Thank you for joining us today in the Pig and Whiskey Test Kitchen. Hope to see you next time. And don't forget, subscribe.